by the way, I've pointed out time and again, guys, we've had this, the whole thing with these MRAPs. It's like, the MRAPs are coming. Well, right here you see one of the Lav 25s being used that we told everybody about and told everybody why it was going to be used and what they would do and why you need to be prepared for it. And it's right there, so everybody gets to watch it. You'll see the Lav 25 run by the state police. By the way, we were chasing these or monitoring these all over the state of Michigan, these Lav 25s. And again, they have both the CP ambulance model and they had the standard infantry model, or they had the, the CP or command post variants. That has more of what is a higher rear end because it's set up as a military van, though it is an armored personnel carrier. It is a full APC. In this image, you'll see the you'll see the house intact. You'll see them where they're yapping back and forth. They're, shouting how they're going to kill him. They're going to kill him. You will die. You will die. And then, of course, the vehicle goes by. You can see there are two views. There's the view from above, which shows the actual FLIR footage. That's a FLIR aircraft up above. And then you'll see down the ground action where they back up, and you can see the roof lift up off the building. Southern Perversion Law and the ADL have tried to lie about this for years because they got their special, joined at the hip, bunghole to reproductive organ, which what queers do. Well, they're, of course, they were doing, it was just a couple of flashbang grenades. No,
that actually was edited. The next day, the roof didn't jump as high on the news.
Yeah.
That's true.
The problem they had is a news crew from one of the upper state stations snuck in from the other direction from where the state police were filming. And their footage was more graphic because of the angle, where you can literally see the roof butterfly right off of the rafters and come back down. And then the first charge was above, they put one on each floor is what they did. But not only did they put one, it was a double charge. Both bag charges were double charges because they had to account for these things. And the demolition company that found out about it canceled their contract with the state police because
they no longer do business with them. Yeah.
They didn't want to be responsible because they knew the state police. The first thing they're going to do is start lying. It's like, remember the self-fragging feds where they'd all pulled the pins on their idiots that pulled the pins on their grenades. And then when they start going off on them and they did a harmonic explosion where they went off all over the vest because they, had the pins pulled in advance. Mr. Grenade is not your friend. First thing they did is try to what? Blame the company. Well, the company would be the first to tell everybody, here's how it works. Don't pull the pin on Mr. Grenade or Mr. Grenade is not your friend. But these characters were going to do everything they could, and they were in motion to screw that company, and they destroyed business for it, just damaged its reputation, and the whole 9 yards. And, by the time you're done with rumor, and of course it came from those highly professional feds.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing. Yeah, they did. They figured they were going to scapegoat the dingleberries who thought they were special with the Fed. And lo and behold, they found out exactly how the world really works. So again, but that's militia. Know your enemy. 9 minutes, 55 seconds long. Please, if somebody wants to copy it, you can. We've sent this video out to a lot of places, so there's people who have it on VHS. That's originally how it was released. The audio track is matched up. There was nothing changed. In fact, originally I was going to try and do this in so many segments, but somebody wanted a compressed version, so what you see is the progressive action initially destroying the house. So everybody understands. You get it from the aerial view, you also get a better feel for the environment and what he exfiltrated out of. Now remember, when you watch it, there's a big bucket boom truck that comes in from the side, guys, and not boom truck, a shovel bucket, okay? It comes in because it was on standby. They were all ready to do this and push the wreckage in and destroy the house and kill him and mutilate everything and anybody nearby if they could. So
how did he do it? How did he get away, Mark? I mean, what did he do?
Scott was surrounded by the SRT, county departments, and the local state police in mass. In fact, there were probably close to 200 people on the ground. So even though the building was surrounded, even though they had FLIR technology from above, your guess is as good as mine. He used cover and concealment. He used the terrain.
Here's a good point to be made. Once you're among them, the flare is useless. It doesn't have a name tag. It's not like the computer on what's on that television show that every time they see you, numbers come up and wham, bam, they got you identified. Flare does not do that.
Yeah, the real world doesn't work the way those booby videos are being done for that were done as competition with the InfoWars thing. Oh, it's so horrible because they got this and they got... No, they don't. Throw that BS out the window. But that's part of it's futile to resist, you got to be Weezer mode. In reality, the other problem you've got is, it's like right now, it's summertime. Even right now with the temperature coming down, it's close enough to, in the 90 range that you're not getting strong signals. You're still getting thermal bubbles all over the place. And this is even towards the evening like we have right now, but we've got high humidity. That creates problems. See, and plus the other thing, remember, they created their own thermal plume mask when they burned the building.
Yeah.
See, once you start burning something, it's like throwing tires. It's why you throw tires out to reduce, change the thermal signature. You've got this massive plume that's also sending hot ash, debris downrange, and that is a massive spike in and of itself. Now, towards the front of the house, you'll see it's about 60, more like 60, 70 yards, is the road. You can't quite see it. It's on the right side of the picture, actually. You'll see where the Lab 25 comes from. The surrounding area is cornfields and tree lines, typical tree line, farm field, tree line, farm field. The guesstimate, as good as anybody's, would be that he could have exfiltrated along the back of the property, say, parallel with the cornfield, because you can't see some of it that I did see you can see it in the FLIR. You'll watch the FLIR, you'll see what I'm talking about. Most likely was exfiltrating straight back initially, and then zigzagging off of the terrain using the overhead cover. The big thing is keeping junk over your head. And don't pop up. Don't look at. That if there's a helicopter out there, don't look for it. You know what a helicopter looks like. Use your ears.
You know what it sounds like.
That's right. The important thing is get under cover. Get debris, junk underneath you.
When they double game you in the air,
forgive me.
When they two-tag you, double team you, it can be harder to hide.
Yeah. But
hey, that's what wide trees are for. That's what pines are for. I had this conversation with someone about 2 weeks ago. About 2 weeks ago now. How far into the brush can I see with that thermal? Now, we've talked about outlines. We've talked about green screen. You can hide in the brush. You can stand still in the brush and see clearly those things around you, but have enough brush in front of you that you've disguised your outline, and someone looking at you with green screen will not see you. As long as you don't move. As long as you don't have on, a headlight, or, other things that draw attention to you. No. The same instance with thermal, you're going to be seen. They won't see the outline, but they will see the splattering of heat that you would see directly. Any place you have a line of sight, thermal is going to show up. But you don't have to put a whole lot of most anything between you and that device before it can't see you. And apparently Scott made good use of that.
Yeah, there was nobody that was able to make contact with him after he was able to escape and evade the site.
Right.
The other thing is that here's the one thing about this video when you watch it. They surrounded the site, and once they burned it, they compressed in. First they sent the bulldozer. They didn't send the fire trucks in, but they had a combination of. It's not a bulldozer. It's a big arm bucket. It's a dig bucket. Now, that means they were thinking ahead because they knew that he had a swimming pool-type foundation. He had a rectangular cast foundation. So they attacked, they used the demolitions on the house, got the fire going. The cameraman even is going, yeah, watch that bad baby bird. You can hear all the punks. You get to hear them with all their laughing. We're all serious. No, they're all skanks, as far as I'm concerned. Whole pack of them. But anyway, then they all come up and they're all standing around because first they pushed the wreckage of the building into the basement and got everything smoldering and burning more. so that they hadn't, all the evidence was destroyed about what they did. Well, then after that, they start using the bucket to dig out. Well, they're all standing around, and they're all shucking and jiving, and there's close to, at any given point, there's between 70 to 100 of them on the ground standing there. And I don't think most of them ever left. They just got bored after a while because it wasn't as, when they didn't dig a body out immediately, it wasn't as funny. But progressively, they're all standing there, and they're getting quieter and quieter. And, of course, now you got to remember this started out midday. Mm-hmm. They're busy staring at a hole for the whole afternoon because they're waiting for a body. Scott's gone and doing cross country. They don't know they don't know. They think they're absolutely sure he's dead. Every hour that he had is another 5 to 7 miles that should have been put behind him. Straight out. Just straight out, just straight out. Figure out that by the time he's done, with every foot that you put out there, guys, it's how many more square feet, because they had no clue which direction he went in. Mm-hmm. They had no idea. So they're staring at the hole and staring at the hole, and it was about 9, I think about, close to 10 o'clock. They're scraping the last of the stuff out of there, and they've got these two characters down there in the bottom of the pit going around with shovels and rakes trying to poke around to see if they can find anything. And they're not laughing and high-fiving anymore. They're staring down at the hole, and they've got all the wreckage from the hole up above, which is all a smelly, nasty mess because it's all freshly been burned, and all the food and storage is there. The dog was pulled up, the little dog. He wasn't very big. And now they're realizing they don't have a body in the hole. Well, he didn't get blown up.
He didn't discombobulate.
And so towards the end there's obviously now somebody's getting on the radio, and either that or first they better be going through all the wreckage because maybe they made a mistake.
Maybe they shoveled them out.
So between, noon, 11 o'clock-ish and all the way through to 10 o'clock at night, in other words, almost half a day worth of free time in which there was no possibility of them being able to, ID that was him they were seeing. The important thing is not to make contact with anybody, use the terrain, stay in the tree lines, stay in the woods if at all possible. Tree lines don't offer any maneuverability, but where you can go... Go ahead.
Interesting the dog didn't follow him, you guys. I mean, you'd think...
No, the dog was still in the house. The little dog was in the house. He left... I think his logic was that, hey, they're going to find the dog, they're going to get the house, oh well. Well, I don't think... Nobody was thinking they were going to blow the house up and burn the house down and kill everything, but that was the plan. They were planning on killing him.
Yep.
Originally, when the state police cop was shot by the SRT, which is the other state police... The guy that was shot, that was a state cop, was up in the upper part of Michigan, away from the Detroit area, because he was a witness to mob operations in the government.
So they had isolated him.
They had sent him out of his area to be working over on the other side of the state. Scott is on the radio talking to another radio station. In fact, what it was, state police came in, and they went to the county militia commander for the Wolverines, and they barged into the house, and they were taking everything over. And what they did is they got onto their radio net. Now, Scott's radio equipment was in the middle of the house, kind of like in a closet, literally in the middle of the house. So they've got him on the radio. Meanwhile, the state cop and the SRT characters why they got the local cop by himself, nobody knows. It doesn't make any sense. The SRT is their own unit. All of what's going on there, everybody knows what's what. Well, the kid that was with the state cop that was the witness, he got armpitted by one of his buds. They stuck it right up through the body armor and smacked him with a whole pile of rounds and dropped him dead.
And blamed it on Scott.
Now, Scott was on the radio talking to the SRT, who knew what they were going to do, obviously, and what they were planning, because when it happened, everybody in the room knows that Scott was talking to them, and you could hear this pat outside from a machine gun. And Scott said, "What the hell was that? What's going on? Hey, what the hell's going on outside?" That's when the SRT killed their own man.
Yep.
Everybody was in the room because we're going to talk to Scott. Well, of course, then immediately the SRT threatened everybody. The SRT is as dirty as the day is long. That's a special response team, state of Michigan. They're murderers.
Well,
you know they are.
Scott was one sharp SOB to get out like that. I would have loved to see how he did it. Good Lord.
Well, they actually, he'll tell you himself.
Not only did they, now here's the thing, once they realized, here's the kicker. What happened is, you got to remember, if you watch the video, which, forgive me, I'm going to have to post this on YouTube. It's going to take a whole day to do it. But at the end of the video, at the end of the dig out part, what they did is they realized they didn't have him there. They started digging up all of the yard with that bucket.
Looking for a tunnel out of the basement when they couldn't find any holes in the basement walls.
Right.
How stupid is that?
Yeah. The hole out, okay, the argument was he must have had a tunnel out of the basement. Well, the problem is the basement was cast cement, and it was like a swimming pool.
It was intact.
Yeah, and it was full of water, because they had to dig the water out. However, then they turned around and started digging around the yard, figuring he must be here. Now, in a way, that probably bought more time still, because in a way, I think the reason they did that, dead men tell no tales. They were terrified that now they got a living, breathing human being that somebody can interview. And since he'll say, well, I was on the radio talking to you people. The radio's in the middle of the building. I can't see.
And it's recorded.
Yeah, it was recorded from the state police end with what they were doing out of the other radio. And so the thing is that, they were going to destroy all that. Hell, it took 2 years just to get the video we're talking about. And needless to say, like Waco, anything that had to do with what was really going on, as far as any live cameras to show who shot what, well, that film was all gone right off the bat.